Hey everybody, this is Grace, and in this video I'm going to talk about another kind of alternative viewpoint. I have on, this one is on education, okay, and I'm talking about, some used to call it formal education, past high school diploma, okay, and not for like a certification, but actually at a college or university, like a college here. Usually it's like a 2-year associate's degree, and you can get a 4-year bachelor's, and then you can go for graduate school and get, master's, PhD, whatever you do. I mean, it can be a combination there. I had a double major for my bachelor's degree, and I went on from there. But what I was thinking a lot about the other day was, besides that the online classes, I think with what's going on now, I think we're learning more. We really need to learn more about social distancing, how to keep people safer from just not like something like we're having now. I'm not going to say what it is, but I think they're doing something about that. They don't like us talking about it, or something, I don't know. But the flu, any kind of thing like that, and they need to, practice. We need to learn to practice more social distancing. Now, of course, it would be like a pendulum swing, and it may go too far, and when it's going to have to be adjusted and all that. But I think whenever it comes to education, this is another thing. I think it needs to be, formal education needs to be less in classroom, and more online. Now, there is a problem with that. There is a problem that people who can't really afford to have a computer and setup and all that could be a problem. That's just one of the problems. It could be many. And a lot of people like the tradition of the child going away and being in class, and yes, they need to socialize with other people and learn what other people think, but I think this can all be done with something like Skype, I think people just call that, but it could be something different that you can see one another, and like the whole classroom, you can see everybody in your classroom, to be on camera and set it up to that way, to when somebody speaks, like people who do, I'm not saying but people who do, what is it called? Live streams that there's more than one person on the panel on YouTube. They used to do Hangouts. I don't know if they're still the Google Hangouts or not, but anything like that, I don't see why there would be a problem. But yeah, it would be a major change. I do know that they have had online classes for many years, but I think that needs to be more online classes. And back then, whenever I remember them, you had to show up for the first day. I don't think people need to be doing that anymore. I think that we need to realize this is not the same world we used to live in, and people are more aware of how many people die from just the flu, yearly flu. Not this one is different a bit. This is not a flu. Yeah, and there's so many other kinds of things that could happen and have. So things need to change. I think this is a wake-up call for us. And what was really on my mind about this was that this is another thing I think that's going to change quite a bit. There's going to be, I don't want to call it a revolution, but it's going to be a big change. And for many years now, people who are intelligent, who are educated, who are scientists, who are on and on, it had switched to, it had been really for many, many years. I think all my life I knew of this, that they were bad-mouthed somehow, like calling them nerds or calling them whatever, or don't listen. And then it evolved so bad to where now it's like, all the conspiracy theories against anybody who's professional, anybody who's educated, anybody, just totally cutting them down. Well, now that, this is going on, and all the while I used to think, I would hear people say this, I would think, yeah, like if you got really hurt or something, and you had to go to hospital, you would want to ensure that that person was very educated, that they knew what they were doing. You know? But I don't know if that kind of logic would be something they would consider. Yeah, but no. Anyway, I think that it's going to become a time when the educated become much more powerful, and it's going to turn to science, away from conspiracy theories and such. People just thinking just because they've had an experience, therefore they can do it. Like too many life coaches I've seen. I'm not saying all life coaches, but too many I've seen that do like videos or something. They feel like just because they have experienced something like narcissistic abuse, and therefore they can be a life coach to someone who's going through it and to guide them through it. No. I just disagree with that totally, 100%. Yeah, not everybody goes through the same thing. Not everybody's experienced the same thing, and nobody has the exact same thing. Each person is a different person, and these are people who don't want to have any formal education, often, quite far too often, and they don't have the background. They don't have the degrees. They don't have the background. And they think that they should be doing what they think they should be doing as a life coach is counseling, and no, that's not that either. So, yeah, that's a big pet peeve of mine. Now, where I really want to move to on this is, I think colleges and universities should be free. This is the United States. I can only talk about the United States as far as this goes. I don't know what it is where you live, but they should all be free. I really do feel that way. I know I'm not the only person in the world that feels that way. But yeah. But I also think that here's something a little bit different. I know that some do it in some ways, okay, just in some ways, but I think that colleges and universities should be more like whenever you're in pre-K to 12. Okay, at some point they will start dividing up students by their abilities, by their I'm just going to say abilities. I'm not going to go into any other detail, but abilities to learn. Okay, and to learn what? Once they get in high school, once they get out of high school and into college or university, they refine that. Whatever it is that a student can do, okay, what they do best. And I think that's going to involve a lot more counseling. For each student, a lot more paying attention to what the students' transcripts from high school say. And no, I don't think you call them transcripts, or do you, from high school? But to really clue it in. Not clue it in, but fine tune it to each person's abilities. Okay, just so they're not just out there willy-nilly, taking classes. Of course, people could take classes in something they're interested in, but as far as earning a degree, it would be something that they really can do. And yes, it is pretty much like that, but it's more of you have to fail out of it. You have to fail the course and not be able to, however many times, wherever it is where you live, to be told you can't do this. Instead, like I said, geared toward what they can do, what you can see already, and matches what they want to do, out of a selection of what they're capable of doing. You see, it would involve a lot more. It would involve more, and I'm saying this for anybody, not just somebody, whatever, not just people who are like in AP classes, honors classes, honor roll, or people who, it's always been thought they will go to college because they're so smart. Anybody can do this. You don't have to have had a certain GPA whenever you were in high school. Any of that. You don't have to compete so much. Okay, they need to teach the courses at that same level, like you have in high school. I was in honors, and then I had friends who were not. I had friends who were, and they were, I don't even know what they called them back then. I really don't remember what they called it, but there were like 3 levels or something, 3 or 4, I don't know. And that would help the students at that level. They would help them. They were geared toward that. They had a focus on how they thought, how they learned, how they how to teach them. So there was more focus on that. And I think that should continue after high school, like I'm saying. It really should. So we have more educated people out there, okay? People who are taught things like logic and critical thinking skills, you know, on and on. How to put two and two together, basically. Sum it up, two and two together. So, and I really think that what we have right now is not a working system. It's not working for, you know, like they have in grade school. Now, I'm not an expert on that, you know, how they have all of all of it education, starting pre-K up. You know, and some would even include daycare. There needs to be more attention on actually teaching them, you know, these skills. Because I do really think that there's going to be this turn. It's like, you know, flipped epic. When I think about history, and of course I was not a history buff. I'm not a history buff. I had to take history classes, lots of them. But things I read or things I'd learned over time, you know, it's about like how revolutions start and all this stuff. But really, I think this is going to be something similar. That it's going, you know, maybe gradual, but enough was enough. I think we've learned enough is enough. More people need to be better educated. Now, I'm not blaming at all I'm not blaming at all the educators, teachers, educators all around. I think it's just the system needs to be changed. It needs to be brought to modern times, really. It's just been old, and this is how it is, and this is the status quo, and this is how we've always done it. We're not going to change. Well, the world has changed. There's the internet now, and it's been there. And my first time online on anything you would think of as social media was 1990. This is 2020. Okay, yeah, it's time to change more than just, oh, well, let's just have a few classes, but you're still going to have to show up for some. You know, I don't know if it's that way, if some people can earn their whole degree online. I think you can, but I'm not talking, but those are different kinds. I don't know if it's changed since then, but more, you know, like if a student needs to go and see the professor, they can actually go there. It's a local college or university. They can actually go there. But more of the classes are taught online, or all of them. They can earn their degree that way somewhere local, not, you know, something a totally different thing. You know, the university might be in however many states over. No, something local. But yeah, that would have helped a lot of it. I think it would have helped a lot of people. I think it would have helped the culture, everything. I think it would have helped if people had, you know, more and more. I'm not talking about, none of this is, you know, everybody. It's not one size fits all. But I think if more and more people had that chance, that opportunity to go in to learn a skill that they wanted to, and they didn't have to worry about the money, how much books cost. Books are, they always have been, I think, notoriously. Textbooks far too expensive, far. And if you get professors that want you to buy more than one, yeah, that's not good. You know, and they never get through one. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I think that's something that needs to change, and not just yesterday. I mean, not just next few 10, 20, 30 years from now, I'm still talking about it, kind of thing. I think it needs to change now. I mean, 30 years. I've been on social media, so yeah, it's time. So, okay, I think I want to wrap this up. That's enough for this video. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.